devil worshippers. You know, when I talk about, well, I don't really talk about other people, but when I hint at other people, you know what the most disappointing thing is? They can be pro-black, they can be whatever you want to call it, conscious, they could be a lot of things, but they haven't created a new way beyond what the devil has taught them. So anytime they think about helping black people, their thoughts are no different than if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki or any other person, because this black man who's now talking to you has done nothing but copied his father, copied who taught him. So as a result, when black people wonder why they can't win, it's not hard to realize why you can't win. No one has come up with an original thought, an original way, you know what I mean, to make it for black people in America or black people worldwide. So when I wrote $1.15, right, people say, oh, you know, you got this from this, you got this from this. But realistically, I know no one has ever seen me put that or anyone else put those things together in that form, right? So I could have grabbed it from this guy, but realistically, I tell you who I got it from. It's basically built off of Booker T. Washington and the kind of do-for-self kind of things that he did. I just extrapolated it out to a newer generation, to my time. You understand what I mean? I never try to take credit and call myself the originator or the leader of the do-for-self movement, homie. I'm really just trying to, give what I can to those who do not know. But what I want you to know when I call people devil worshippers is, if a black man is in this country and he knows that he's losing money and everything, you understand what I mean? If he has a record deal, he doesn't get the biggest part of it. If he has an idea, he has to give it to someone else. If he wants to make money, he has to lose himself. If he wants to be big in this world, he has to watch out for people not liking him. If he has to apply for a job, he has to realize that people may not hire him. And throughout all these things that we know, then someone says, well, let's work the same way they are, the people who have been oppressing us, who have been keeping us out, the people who have been taking advantage of it. What kind of dumb fucking logic is that? Now, I jump on a lot of the brothers in the fraternities and sororities, because no matter what they say, it's still copying off what they see white people do. The problem with that is if the devil is your idea of success, then you will never do for us and you will never do for self. You understand? Half of these dudes, if not 85% of these dudes, are always talking about stocks, right? Is there a black stock? Is there something in there that you can extrapolate? Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's universal, right? But if you remember a couple of podcasts ago, maybe 10, 20 ago, and I said, corporate is nothing but the white way. If we were in China, it would be the Chinese way. They wouldn't call it corporate way. So it's a way of trying to say that these things are universal. They're not white. And so since they're universal, they must be right. And this is a problem when it comes to you doing for yourself. If you don't start thinking about how these things only apply to you and what you have to do, then you're going to fail, homie. You're going to fail. And no matter how many books you read, all these dudes sound the same. That's why I laugh at it when I hear them. Oh, well, black people, they need jobs. And black people, they need to invest. And black people, they don't have enough bank accounts. And black people, what black person growing up, homie, said any of that shit? Or did the black dude who went and worked at Bank of America or Chase came back from his white meeting to say that's what blacks need? It's a misunderstanding when you follow the devil, that you don't know that you're not doing not a damn thing for yourself. Let me give you a better example. Most people think that success, and you'll hear it from certain people, Freeman, I'm going to get an education and I'm going to go and I'm going to change the world. I'm going to go into their system. That doesn't make sense. If you were in my house, could you take over my house? You would say, well, I could buy it from you, but you couldn't take over my house. And that's just this plain, simple understanding, rock bottom understanding that you all agree with. So this same motherfucker who believes he's going to win is going to go into their company, rise up the ranks, right? Knowing all these obstacles are against him, and use his talents to further the company that's going to hold him back. It only takes when I jump on Christians, and I jump on Christians, I don't jump on black people, if you can keep that separate. When I jump on people, the main reason why is because you see something obvious, right? That this is white Jesus. You know that there's a King James version of your Bible and you're so proud to carry it. Do you know who King James is? If a motherfucker was named the Daniel Freeman Bible, you would say, what the fuck is Daniel Freeman interpreting the Bible? But since King James interprets the Bible, you motherfuckers are happy to say that must be real. Since my base is from this lie or this interpretation, right? How can anything I produce be for me? Do you understand? And then we reinforce it by going out and saying this is what intelligence is. That you go out into this world and every day you tell other people things you learned from the devil himself. And you think you kind of, because that's part of black history here in America, right? United States. We love to say we learned this and we passed it on. They kept it from us and we passed it on. They kept this idea from us and we passed it on. And now that's how we came up. But if the only way you come up, young brother, is to give what you have to another white company, another white man, another white institution, to be partnered with a white institution, to have movies with the Jewish people, to have Jewish friends, to have a Jewish lawyer, to have Italian friends, you must be a sorry motherfucker. But since you network, because that's another goddamn dumb word that comes from the devil himself, since you network, guess what? You think you coming up. I know 30 people who do this. Y'all ain't came up yet. This networking shit been around here for like 30 years and nobody came up fucking yet. So why do we keep doing it? Because the majority of black people are devil worshippers. They worship the evil that is against them by copying it in every fucking way. You eat the same food. So if some motherfucker say, oh, well, Freeman, there's a Chipotle coming. And I'm like, that's just Mexican food taking away all the Mexican stuff. Well, Chipotle is better. Why? Because white people eat at Chipotle? You know this in your life, homie. When you walk around this earth, you'll see black people who want to have white things, but they don't want to call it white things, so they keep twisting it like the devil does back into, this is what intelligent people do. Intelligent people eat Cornish hens. Intelligent people do this. Intelligent people do that. So they make a whole class of this intelligence to disguise that they're copying every goddamn thing. Now, when it comes to money, because this is what we do on RNG, when it comes to money, there's no problem with me telling you to capitalize on things. So if a black man went into a Irish neighborhood and opened up a whiskey place, because Irish people, I guess, drink whiskey, that would be capitalizing on it, right? But if a black man says, I'm not going to go into that place, I'm going to only go and spread the poison that is alcohol to my own people, because he's scared to go and sell alcohol over in the Israeli area or the Pakistani area or the, or any of these groups, Armenian, whatever. You're scared to go over there and open up shop. But they aren't scared to come over here and peddle the shit in our neighborhoods. Right? And then you copy the same way. Well, niggas just need something to drink sometime. It is the same shit. You so fucked up in your brain. You got such a bad feeling of yourself. And you think that these things, despite the fact that you over here giving that shit to your own people, you don't see that connection. You think it's capitalism. You think it's making money. You think it's the American way. When I jump on motherfuckers on Shark Tank, it's because I realize, hey man, these motherfuckers are taking 30%, 50% of something these motherfuckers made in their garage. And then there are other people so happy, I get to be part of it. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't sell half of your land away and then still work on it, would you? Isn't that what they doing with on that show every day? What I want you to understand when I call you devil worshipers, homie, is because you see something very obvious, you know it, and the dumb motherfuckers keep repeating it, and you don't change your course. You know what I'm saying? If you know that like we always talk about, white Jesus, I say that just because it's wrong, it don't exist. But how many people still go to church and don't ask the pastor, don't talk to him and say, why haven't we changed? Why isn't this one of your discussions in church tomorrow? Why are you still talking about weird shit? Why don't we correct some of the wrongs? Right? But you still go there. Right? And all these things, this is what I tell you. Listen to everybody else who you learning from, because I know y'all a learned group of people on RNG. I know you listening to other dudes who are talking about money and everything else. And you'll say, oh man, that's unique. It ain't unique, brother. He's saying the same thing that 10 other people done said. This is why I told you I'm not a fucking inspirational speaker, because nobody have to give you substance if your ass ain't gonna fucking learn, if you ain't gonna put 2 and 2 together. This is why when I tell you that I give you these hustles, I introduce them to you, and then I want you to put your spin on it. If you in Detroit, that's your spin. If you over here in Minneapolis, that's your spin. If you in Miami, that's your spin to the hustle. I'm giving you the patterns of money. I'm not giving you the direct hustle. I'm giving you the thought process of this money, not the direct hustle. But instead, guess what? Hey, Freeman, man, black people might like coffee. Yeah, we've been drinking coffee a long time. But do you think Starbucks, the black people that go to Starbucks really are just drinking coffee, or are they really seeing that white people were drinking that coffee? And then I told you, like they do in Europe, they all want to sit outside, right? So now black people sit outside. And you don't think something weird about that? You think that's American? Like I always have an argument with some people and say, well, we're all American. What part of America has you been part of? Have you've probably been excluded from? It's just like a little kid who you don't let ride a bike. When they get out to ride a bike, they get happy. They run down the street. They jump for joy. Because I get to participate. I get to be included. I get to be what I couldn't have, I can now have. Don't you realize the majority of black people who receive money are trying to say to you in a very successful way, because it is successful the way this is, I get to do what white people do. None of them have you seen do something black on a big explosion. When I say a black thing, let's say there's an Essence Festival. That's a good one. Usually black, now it's white on, I believe. But, how many of your people you hear say, I'm going to Essence Festival? How many of your people instead say, I'm going to what is that shit, Cannes Film Festival? Right? How many of your people want to be in those things? How many people say, you know what, I got some money, I'm going to go to Ghana, I'm going to go to Liberia, I'm going to go to South Africa? How many of your people instead saying, I'm going to Italy? You know what I'm saying? How many? You got to understand what I'm trying to tell you. Your whole life, you worship, you think that what these devils are telling you on a daily basis is your life, is real life, is the good life. So you want to emulate it, and you emulate it to such a degree, there's no wonder why black people can't get up. So when you come from the bottom, use my story. This is an example for you to understand. Since I was not raised in these areas where everybody pushed this line, if you understand what I mean when I say push this line, where they push this shit down our throat of this is what you do with your money, this is how you become successful. You go to school, you get a house, you get married, you get 3 cars, you get 3 kids, you have a BMW, your wife does it, you go on vacation every summer. Since I wasn't raised in that line, so all I could produce to you is what I went through and what I learned and what I created for myself. Do you understand what I mean? So when I talk to you about businesses and I talk to you about this, it's primarily saying, this is the structure of an LLC, young homie. This is why you use it. If you look around, this is why they did it. But this is how you can apply it to your hustle. I don't talk that shit just saying, hey, you know what? People don't know about mortgages. I'm not out here teaching no goddamn class about fucking mortgages just for the sake of fucking mortgages. I only talk to you about how it applies to our hustle and what we need to do to come up and how we need to be independent. So this mortgage is a step in us getting our house, but it ain't a goddamn thing to learn to the degree beyond, oh, well, I understand rates. When you talk to most dudes about stocks, right, they don't know a goddamn thing. They just hear what they heard on TV, right? And I don't want you to ever think that when you hear me, I'm not putting blame on you. Homie, I was the same way. Until you discover yourself, you'll discover other people and you'll discover other thought processes. And then you start looking around saying, if a lot of the black people in the United States are at this economic level, then I can't be coming out talking about $1 million shit. Now I could talk about $1 million shit in the sense of we're going to get there, but it's not what they need to eat and thrive and live off today. Do you understand? This is why this shit I call it devil worshippers, because they can't. It's like telling you, remember we talk about a book and you read a book and their first starting point is like 10 G's, 25 G's, and your starting point is like no G's. You lucky if you can hold on to 1 G in your fucking bank account. So you cannot tell us the 25 G game at a 1 G, understanding. I got to tell you how to get up on your own too. I got to tell you how to build where you are. And if you're smart, you're going to take that same shit as saying, Freeman told me how to make my money at 1 G. If I did that 10 times, that's 10 G's. And then if I do it 100 times, that's 100 G's. Do I really need to learn the 25 G game when I figured out the 100 G game? Do I really need to buy a big house and say I'm living when I know I'm $500,000 in debt when you can buy a $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 house and pay the shit off? And then you'll be, like I always tell my nephew, you know, what's more valuable, 0 or negative 300? Negative 80 or negative 300? So again, the devil teaches you when you walk outside that I'd rather be balling. I don't care if I owe $300,000. So instead, I come back with 88 Freeman. I know that's cool, and I just want a regular house and shit. And I know you're saying to be debt free. I'm telling you not to be beholden to the devil in any way. I'm telling you to own your own shit, own your own fucking masters for you dumb motherfuckers who are in music. Own your fucking property, own your fucking businesses for everybody who know. Own your ideas. Don't let them rape and dick you of your talent. But Freeman, that's the way the world is. I don't know if you living in this world. I gotta go to a white person to get a venture capitalist to get my business off the ground. I gotta go to someone to the bank and get a small business loan, Freeman. I gotta go here. I gotta go here. I gotta go here. Next. Right? Because your brain believes the only way in this world is the white way, the devilish way. You see that keeps your people down, that keeps you from getting a motherfucking job, that keeps you from getting a motherfucking loan. In your parents' history and your grandparents' history, they'll tell you about the time when they couldn't even get a goddamn house loan. Now you so happy to walk around with an American Express Black Card, right? And I'm not trying to jump that history shit on you because you don't believe in it, homie. You don't believe. Every generation does not believe that the shit that happens in the past will happen to them. That's why we go through the same dumbass process over and over and over. And don't get it twisted. This is the same process I got to go with my nephew. I could talk to him about certain shit. And then I can explain to him what's coming, and he still believes, but I'm going to win. And I'm like, this is just stupid. Don't you understand the way the whole world works? You can't win in this shit. But they're all devil worshippers. And don't get pissed off that you've been indoctrinated into this shit. You don't know your history. You know when George Washington sailed the ocean blue, or whatever that, Christopher Columbus, right? You don't know your own history, but you know everything about Warren Buffett. You don't know not one black millionaire and how he made it, but you know Warren Buffett like to the T. Next. You know all these people and you don't know yourself. So if you know everyone else's story and you think you're going to bring that in, you losing. Just like you misguided motherfuckers who believe that Jesus is white. And you believe in the area that he's white. So now in your head, because you have this white man in your brain, you can't believe that you are God. You can't even fathom the idea that you're God. So when I say that I'm God or anything else, you say, Freeman, you ain't God because Jesus is Lord. I know that's going through your motherfucking head. You know, Freeman, all black people can't do this because it's better, and everybody's trying to make something better. Like, I heard a white man over there. He ran them too, Freeman. And I don't know who he is, but I heard a white man, and the white man said this is what you should do. And that's what you guys are saying, right? Everybody in this game is devil worshiping. Because until we extrapolate what we need, you know, when you hear other people talk, they'll say math is the only universal thing, right? And the reason why they say math is the only universal thing is because it can be proven. The rest of that shit is all theory, right? But this can be proven, meaning if we get 2 pieces of this and we add the 2 pieces of this, it equals 4 pieces of this. You can see it, we can count it, we can touch it, it's real, right? But when we get to this other shit, you know, Freeman, this is the way we should run a business. Who said that? You don't think a black man can run his own business, come up with his own theory, come up with his own angle? Well, why, Freeman? Because it's already there. Because everything you do, young homie, about money in this country returns it back to the same people who put you down. And if you don't get that through your thick-ass fucking head, you can't help nobody, right? You can't do a damn thing until the black man develops his own ways, until the black man develops his own thoughts and say that I am not them. And it's nothing against white people, period. You know what I mean? They have their own way. The Chinese have their way. Don't they have a book that say the Chinese have a word for it, or the so-and-so? Because they saying these people have their own word for this shit. We have to develop our own word for these things and how we operate in this world. And until you do that, start thinking that way, we're going to lose. Now, it don't mean that the fastest way to rake a yard is with a rake. It means that maybe there's a better way that we just didn't think of. Don't get comfortable relying on the fact that there isn't a better way and that we can create a better way, our own way. It's like having our own language, a way of expressing ourselves. So when people say slang is improper English, but all black people understand each other. So that means it's effective. If they can't understand us, guess what it's called? It's Chinese, homie. It's Japanese. But it doesn't get disbanded. But people say, that's Ebonics. These are the same people who believe. And that's why I'm saying the devil worship. You hear it in every word they use. This is, oh, it's Ebonics. That's not a real word, right? And it's not this, and it doesn't sound like the king's in. Who's king? What I'm telling you is to be your own man. Even when you hear me talk, I want you to take it in. I want you to say, but that's not how it goes down in Cleveland. That's not how we get down in fucking Buffalo, homie. That's not how we get down in Philly, homie. But I appreciate the game. I appreciate the angle. I appreciate the pattern. It's something new for me to look at. Now I'm going to apply game in my place. And the benefit of this, homie, is that we can't be stopped. You can't be stopped when the motherfuckers don't understand. But as long as they understand that your bitch ass gonna wake up every morning, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get out of college, you're gonna get a job, you and your dumbass girl's gonna get a house, and y'all gonna be paying $300,000, $600,000 to show other black people that you're doing better than them. Then you're gonna drink coffee, and you're gonna buy a car that's from the Germans, and you're gonna drive around town, and you're gonna do all this shit that you see white people do on their fucking commercials. And in the back of your mind, you just put your black ass in that commercial and say, that's exactly what I want. I want to go to this kind of ball. I want to go to this kind of Lincoln Center. And then next thing you know, all this shit will do is get you away from being black. And the last thing you have is all the rest of the goddamn devil worshipers say. They'll say, well, you know, intelligent people do this. Most intelligent people worship the devil, homie, because they don't know how to be smart for themselves. Next time, partner.
The whispers kind of begin to die down, and it's just my grandmother again, and she's like, it's gonna be okay, go ahead. He looks and he leans forward,